Okay, today we're going to have a look at converting a fraction into a decimal. This is a regular practice that we may need in our everyday lives, and I'll show you a simple method as to how we can do this. Firstly, we take the denominator, which is the number at the bottom of the fraction, and we divide that into the numerator, which is the number at the top of the fraction. Now, to do this correctly, I'm going to use the long division method, or what we sometimes call the bus stop method. And I'm going to divide my denominator into my numerator. So it's going to be the larger number divided into the smaller number. Now, in order to do this correctly, I'm going to have to make the number inside the bus stop. I'm going to have to add some decimal places. So I'm going to have to turn that into 5.0 or maybe even 5.00. I go ahead and start to do this. The first question I ask myself is, can I divide 6 into 5? And the answer is no. So I move on. Next question I ask myself, ignoring the 1 or the 0 over there, is can I divide 6 into 50? Yes, I can. So what I need to do is I need to find out how many times I can count up in 6's towards 50 without going over. So I know that 6 times 8 gives me 48. So I'm going to say 6 times, and I put 6 up here, and I subtract my 48 from 50 down below. That leaves 2. Now, I have 2 remaining, so I'm going to have to add another 0, and I'm going to bring that 0 down here, and that 2 is going to become 20. My next question is, can I count up in 6's towards 20, and if so, how many times? And my answer is 3. So 3 times 6 is 18, and I subtract. Again, I get 2. Now again, I have a remainder, so I'm going to have to bring down another 0. My next question is, can I count up to in 6's to 2? No, so I bring down the 0. Can I count up in 6's to 20? The answer is yes. Again, it's going to be 3. And when I take away 3 multiples of 6, it's 18, and again it's 2. And this pattern would continue in a repeating fashion. So rather than go on forever, I'm going to stop here and actually put a little dot above that 3, which signifies that it's recurring. So to summarize, 5 over 6 converted into a decimal becomes 0.633 recurring with a little dot. Now we're going to look at converting a mixed number, which is also a fraction, into a decimal. But before I do that, I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to convert the mixed number to an improper fraction. Now the way I do that is I take the whole number, 5, and I times it by the denominator. Now 5 times 8 gives me 40. And lastly then I add on the numerator. 40 plus 3 gives me 43. And I write it as a fraction all over the original denominator, which was the 8. So it now becomes 43 over 8. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and convert 43 over 8 into a decimal number. So I'll rewrite my new fraction down here as 43 over 8. And I'm going to divide 8 into 43 and see if I can convert it into a decimal. So I'll begin. Now I may need to add a 0.0 or maybe even more. First question, does 8 divide into 4? No. Can I count up an 8 towards 43? Yes, I can count up 5 times, and 5/8 will give me 40. So I'm going to subtract those numbers, and I'm left with 3. And can I count up an 8 towards 3? No. So I need to bring down that 0, and it becomes a 30. Can I count up an 8 towards 30? Yes, I can. 3/8 will give me 24. So I'll subtract that. 3/8, 24. 24 subtracted from 30 gives me 6. Can I count up in 8s towards 6? No, so I have to bring down another 0. And the question is, can I count up in 8s towards 60? And the answer is yes, I can. 7 times 7/8 is 56. And when I subtract these, I should get 4. Now I'm nearly there. I'm going to bring down one more 0, make that a 40. My last question is, how many times can I count up an 8 towards 40? And we should be able to work out that that is exactly 5 times. 5/8 gives me 40, and there's no remainder. Okay, so last thing I need to do is put my decimal point up where it should be here. So 43 over 8 as a decimal is 5.375. And that's how you convert an improper fraction into a decimal number, or any fraction indeed into a decimal number, by dividing the denominator into the numerator. Practice makes perfect. I hope this helps. Thank you.